So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be doing my favorite, a compilation video. I always love doing these. So this is a segment on my channel where I take 3 very hot topics that are trending and mesh them up into one video. So on the docket tonight, we have Sam Smith being called out for his very satanic Grammy performance that definitely made me question him and the entire music industry. Next, we have the show BMF, which airs on Stars, facing a little controversy after a character's action depicted a real-life person in a controversial way. And lastly, Halle Bailey and DDG seemingly breaking up after DDG put out a cryptic tweet on the internet. So y'all know the deal. When you go to comment, just label story number 1, story number 2, and story number 3. We got some good ones tonight, so without further ado, let's get right into this video. So our first story is about Sam Smith. So at the 2023 Grammys, which just happened, Sam Smith performed his song Unholy. The song was actually a pretty cool pop song, pretty catchy, and it gets a lot of airplay. I hear it on the radio, and I definitely hear the song on TikTok and Instagram a lot. On YouTube, the video of the song has almost 130 million views and actually won a Grammy this year for Best Pop Duo / Group Performance at this year's Grammys. So the song is by Sam Smith, but it also features Kim Petras. So at this year's Grammys, Sam Smith performed the song and it was everything but holy. I see they tried to really put a play on the title of the song by pushing the envelope and showcasing this very demonic and satanic imagery through the costumes, the symbolism, and even some of the special effects. Now, I didn't really tune into the Grammys this year because I haven't tuned into the Grammys in a while. I do think the Grammys has lost some of its appeal over the years, being that we've seen awards go to people who the general public feels are undeserving, or our favorite artists getting overlooked for lesser known people. So I'm not too sure what really goes down with the Grammy board, because it seems like every year there is some type of controversy to the point where it has turned a lot of people off. But this performance in particular literally was beyond devilish. I think the idea of the hell-themed imagery that we see in music is a blatant effort to indoctrinate people, and especially young people, to be okay with this representation. Between Sam Smith's performance and when Lil Nas X dropped his music video for Call Me By My Name, I just feel like these are metaphors for something a little bit more sinister. The one thing I can't stand about artists who choose to go this route is that there's already a lot of speculation and conspiracies about people selling their soul within the music industry, and how unholy, no pun intended, a lot of these people are when it comes to how they act and how they've obtained their level of success. At this point, it's right in our face, and whether you believe in Satan or don't believe in Satan, I think everyone can agree that there is a malicious purpose with the objective to cause controversy and possibly target or offend the masses. I feel like you don't even have to be the most religious person to understand why there's an uproar about plastering satanic analogies on highly television platforms. There's no positivity or lightheartedness that surrounds that, and I think the backlash that it got was warranted. Honestly, I think with the Grammys, there has to be some type of bias, because I find it interesting how Nicki Minaj was basically blacklisted for performing Roman's Revenge back at the 2012 Grammys, and their basis of trying to cut her performance was that because she included aspects that are synonymous with the Catholic Church, it would have been considered offensive and blasphemous. Now, I will say, I do think that when you play on the lines of religion in any format, there's going to be people that are offended. But if the Grammys felt a way about offending the Catholic Church, how does a performance like Sam Smith's hell-based song and performance not receive the same restrictions? I do think there is a race bias, as well as a gender bias, as well as a religious bias. And the religious bias is simply that there's a lot of weird and unholy people that surround this industry. And I definitely don't think everyone in the music industry is like this, or has sold their soul, or even agrees with a lot of the things that happen. But when you look at the huge artists that are global stars to a certain degree, there are quite a number of them who have engaged in some type of behavior to represent Satanism. I just feel like if people want to do these things, do it in the privacy of your own home. But to do it on a syndicated show, it's disgusting that this was allowed, and also very telling of what people think is okay. When it comes to the powers that be of the music industry, they're really playing in our faces, and I just hope that everybody uses a cautious eye and level-headed discernment, regardless if you're religious or not, to understand how much they're trying to normalize this. I feel like if you're on the Christian end of things, this is offensive as well. So if we're going to talk about religiously offensive content being plastered to millions of people, then the Grammys is downright hypocritical. Solomon Bucci, who is a Nigerian songwriter and social media influencer, took to his Twitter to speak against this, and his tweet circulated around a lot of the media platforms. He says, "If as a Christian you think we are reaching when we talk about the dominance and normalization of Satan worship in pop music, you need discernment. Sam Smith's performance at the Grammys last night was satanic, gory. No, it's not art, it's symbolic of who they serve. I'm not instructing you to stop listening to anyone, but heighten your discernment. There's a lot you consume that is a mockery to your Christian faith, and Satan worship too. Again, it's not just art. All art is inspired by reality. All. Now, I do like this message because it doesn't come off too preachy, but just giving people the post to have more judgment and understanding of everything that we consume, especially through the music industry. All in all, I wasn't feeling it. I feel like a lot of the stuff is way too blatant and not family friendly. I think if we have any more controversy about a big name artist performing some type of unholy or devilish or satanic or hell themed anything, then we just need to be real about what is really going on with some of the mainstream music industry. So moving on to story number 2. So the BMF series has been taking over Starz, HBO, whatever, since it debuted. According to Wikipedia, I know, BMF, or Black Mafia Family, is an American crime drama television series which follows the Black Mafia family, a drug trafficking and money laundering organization. The series premiered on September 26, 2021 on Starz. After the series premiered, the series was renewed for a second season, which premiered on January 6, 2023. In January 2023, the series was renewed for a third season. So I've been keeping up with the show since day one. I love the show. I think it has the right amount of drama and suspense, as well as the right amount of relatability. I currently live in Northwest Ohio. I'm about 10 minutes from the Michigan state line and about 45 minutes from Detroit. So I have a lot of Detroit friends that I met through college, as well as just being around the Detroit culture. And I think they've done a great job being accurate from the slang to the lingo to the landmarks and everything in between. The show is so good that it comes off very realistic to the point where you're watching it and thinking, damn, did this really happen the way that it did? So just in case you don't know the real story, two brothers from Detroit, Michigan, which is Demetrius Flannery and Terry Flannery, they were basically running a very large drug industry. So in 2008, both brothers were sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted of running one of the largest drug trafficking and money laundering rings in Michigan history. In 2020, Terry was released from prison due to the coronavirus pandemic, giving leeway to an early release for inmates based on certain circumstances. And being that Terry does suffer from certain health conditions, he was granted an early release. However, Big Meech was not and remains in prison until 2028. Now, although the show has had a disclaimer saying that everything depicted in the show is loosely based on the truth, there are some things that are based off of real life events. So the two main characters, which like I said, is Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, portrayed by Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr., who is the son of Big Meech, and Terry Southwest T Flannery, who is portrayed by actor Da Vinci, by the way, call me, definitely give a 5-star performance on showcasing some of the conflicts in the story behind the BMF evolution. I'm going to try to not give any spoilers, but I will be speaking on something that has already aired. So during the most recent episode, Meech and Terry are in really hot water when they decide to end up in a situation that causes them to skip town. So they drive from Detroit all the way to Atlanta, and of course before they go, they have to tie up some loose ends. And both gentlemen have a love interest in the storyline. For Meech, he has 2 baby mamas and whoever else. Terry also has his baby mama and his crush Markeisha, who is an older love interest and the wife to a fellow drug dealer of Meech and Terry. So Terry has the hots for Markeisha, who is an older woman, like I said, and I think in the show she's supposed to be in her mid-20s, maybe late 20s, I'm not sure. And in the show, Terry is a high school junior or senior, so he's anywhere between 16 and 17. I will be real, when I was watching their love scene, I was questioning the age gap. And I'm going to be real enough to say that it was the first thing that came to my mind. And I believe there were other viewers who also noticed this and were able to find out the real life person who the Markeisha character is based off of and question her about being a potential child lover. So after the backlash came, Tanisha Welch, who Lala's character is based off of, took to her Instagram and wrote the following. She says, WTF, who wrote this part of the story? Terry's 17, I'm 26 years old, my husband a kingpin, but I'm having sex with a 17-year-old who's supposedly still in high school. So before Terry goes on the run, he come to my job, it's closed for the day. We sneak in the janitor's room and have sex. I guess he's too young to have an apartment, he's still in high school or lives with his parents. I guess they have Markeisha looking like a pedophile. If this was the reverse and Markeisha was 17 years old, y'all be trying to put him in jail. Why are they portraying this role like this? OMG, Randy Huggins, this is sad. I never kissed this man until he was 25 years old. This is crazy. This is what happens when you hire the wrong representative. Please, no more DMs. Don't ask me why. I can't explain it. But half y'all believe this sick-ish. Markeisha character is shown in bad likeness. I don't agree with the timeline or the character traits. This show pretends it's not me, but everybody in Detroit Detroit, or half the country knows it's me. Who else worked at the insurance company? So personally, I do agree with what she is saying, because I know that my first thought was, why is she messing with this underage boy? Of course, the show takes place in the late 80s, where hookup culture in this format wasn't as taboo as it is today. But still, just living near Detroit, you can tell that a lot of people know, understand, or are interested in the entire BMF Big Meech story. So it's not far-fetched or wrong for Tanisha to express her disdain for how some people may be questioning her character. Now, I wrote in the comments of the Neighborhood Talk about this, and I said, some of y'all are saying it's not that big of a deal and that the show is loosely based on the truth. However, in real life, people are messaging her and chastising her for being a quote-unquote pedo because this TV show used her likeness to display something that is actually sinister. I'd be mad too if people really thought that about me. And I think that's fair to point out. I see a lot of people excusing this as it just being a TV show. However, this story is still based on real life people. Of course, the character names are changed and some of the circumstances are not on point with the timeline and the dramatics, but clearly the story was pioneered by Terry, like the real life Terry himself. So a lot of this is based on real people. Like Terry even narrates the show as the episodes go on. So like I said, the people in Detroit who were alive and well during that time are speculating something that didn't happen the way it was portrayed on TV. She says they only kissed when Terry was of age, and the show says otherwise. Do I think that this is a big deal? Maybe, because the portrayal is technically illegal and nasty. And like Tanisha said, if it was the other way around, y'all would be mad. I actually believe that if it was a male character who was being portrayed as a child lover, the internet would find the real person and hold him to task. So I think her frustration was valid. Lastly, I think Marquisha's character has to start making more sense, and I hope they show that in the upcoming episodes, because I get her being the new love interest for Terry, but Terry already had a love interest, so I hope there is more to their story between them. So moving on to our last story, this is DDG and Hallie. So I know what y'all are thinking. Chioma, since when did you care if people got together and broke up? And the answer is, I really don't. Like, I definitely don't care. Like, I don't think relationships should be news if two people's careers are not based on their relationship. However, with the case of DDG and Hallie, this was a little bit controversial with how everything went down. So rumors started swirling that DDG and Hallie broke up. The couple has been going strong for a while. I really can't tell you how long because I don't keep up, but I do see them on my timeline and my Explore page and even in my YouTube suggestions a lot. And a lot of people like them, and a lot of people were here for it when they announced themselves as a couple. So fans noticed that DDG and Hallie were not following each other anymore on Instagram. And of course, in true internet fashion, people ran with the breakup narrative. Side note, I don't see how, one, people actually look through celebrities' followers and notice this stuff, and two, why people automatically assume the worst when two people unfollow each other. Nonetheless, people noticed, and to make matters worse, DDG hit the tweet and delete and said, "All these girls the same. Ain't no way." Then he deleted all of their pictures together. And then to make matters even worse, he says, "Nobody cheated on nobody, by the way. Don't take my tweets too serious." Someone came back and asked, "So you just want to retweets like a quote page?" And DDG responded and said, "My life goal is to hit 2 million followers on Twitter." Of course, he was being sarcastic. So, of course, this made people feel more inclined to believe something was going on and that Hallie was the suspected perpetrator. So here comes Hallie's older sister named Sky, who it seems nobody even knew about, defending Hallie and calling out DDG. She says the following.
So what I don't like is when I wake up or when I go on YouTube first thing in the morning and I see my sister on the blogs and it's over some dude. Daryl, DDG, like, bro, what's wrong with you? Hallie's not like the ones that you've been with. You will not treat her the way that you've treated these others. I don't give a freak if y'all had issues going on. That's what you won't do. Please understand that. Like, you're not going to do her the way that you did everybody else. You're not going to come to social media and try to put her on blast and insinuate or put out something to make it seem like she was doing something that she wasn't doing. You need to pipe down and get yourself together. If y'all broke up, then you need to just unfollow and just keep it pushing. You don't have to put nothing out there like that about all these girls is the same. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Okay.
So I guess that Sky jumped the gun and had to double down on what she said to the internet after speaking to Hallie, I'm assuming, and realizing that whatever is going on isn't as serious as it seems. So she comes back with an apology and says, "My bad, y'all. I spoke to sis and ain't nothing going on. LOL. Let me go back to drinking my water and minding the business that pays me." So of course, some people jumped down her throat about not minding her business, and then there were also people who championed her for riding for her little sister regardless. Now, I'm a big sister and I understand her energy, especially especially when it comes to something like public disrespect. So my thoughts on this is that I feel like DDG truly is a character. I'm not going to accuse him of using Halle for attention or for a better reputation, meaning that he is kind of seen as the internet F-boy. But I've seen a lot of people say that they feel that he is using her. I have no comment on that, but I do think this was a cry for some type of attention. Both of the Bailey sisters have really good reputations. They are never in any mess. They really do mind their business and show their talent. So for DDG to pull this messy ass move to insinuate that there was trouble in paradise, I'm going to call that attention seeking. I really don't like speaking low of other YouTubers in a specific and targeted approach, but I'll be honest to say that I think DDG has always given off attention seeker, clout chaser, and just doing what he had to do to get views. Now, I do respect his come up because I used to watch him back in the day, especially because he went to Central Michigan University, which isn't too far from where I went to college. And I think we started our YouTube channels around the same time. But his channel has always been doing things for shock value and trying to get views and attention. Now, I will also say that all YouTubers have a little bit of this in their method to remain relevant and get viewers. I mean, I make catchy titles and thumbnails to entice viewership, just being honest. But I think for DDG, it's definitely heightened, and he did that same thing here. Why even get the people up in arms to believe that your girlfriend did something wrong, such as cheated on you, when you know she isn't even that type of person to be for the internet? DDG has had a public relationship with YouTuber Kennedy Simone, who I like and is so unproblematic, and he's also had a public relationship with rapper Ruby Rose, who I feel kind of made both of their names even more synonymous with the term internet couple. However, Halle is really not like the other girls, so I'm not sure why he played like this. I feel like this is why some people really don't like YouTubers, because it seems like a lot of YouTubers, especially the big ones, do act and say a lot of things for shock value, and that's all I took from this. I'm not sure why DDG and Kennedy didn't work out. I'm not even sure why him and Ruby Rose didn't work out. But I liked Halle's sister's message because she reiterated that you're not just going to push a narrative for whatever reason at the expense of her sister, which is his girlfriend, because it just seems either malicious or calculated. If, according to them, nothing even happened, then I don't even know why he took this to the internet to do too much, because it was never, ever that serious. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ballin'. It is out on all platforms, and stay tuned for new music. Make sure you listen to the end. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 I said 34 B cup, 30 in a deep cut, 20 bad bitches QTM. Yeah, we up. 16 tops and bottles, man. I went and got my teeth done. 10 minutes with him, now his 15 minutes is cut. Never ever make a nigga think that he up, cause you a queen and I'm a queen. Now shout out to Latifah. Security in the back with a racket like Serena. Ex nigga crying, laugh at him like a hyena. Like, damn, what you saying, daddy? Yeah, I know I got a fatty. Pussy talking to him, talk my shit, yeah, I be getting catty. Play with me, I bet you won't. Fatty on his chest and now he calling me a stethoscope. Pink fit, look, think I'm looking good, incredible. Cutting niggas off, I'm coming through like a semicolon. Mansion in the motherland, December come, that's where we going. Body hot, my niggas frozen, niggas put my picture up and yeah, they go and get the lotion. And I'm the one that check up on, feeling so lucky, getting green like a leprechaun. Run a few errands with the bag with the checkers on it, push it on the